Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to Walkmen Comics, and today I'm gonna be doing another comic review. And I talked about this in the last update. It's not a very good update, don't watch it. But yeah, basically I'm gonna be reviewing Flashpoint. This is an awesome comic. I love it. It is the best. I definitely recommend this. Go check this out yourself. You know, I picked up the volume of this. There are separate issues. I don't know when this came out. When did it come out? Let's have a look. I have the volume here with me right now, so I can have a look right now. The art is really cool. Let's have a look. When was this made? This was made in 2011. That's pretty cool. And I know that there's this little animated movie based on this. It's called Justice League: The Flashpoint Paradox, and I do want to check that out. I have not seen it yet, and yeah, like, thank heavens that I got into the Flash, because if I didn't, I wouldn't have read this, and it's an awesome story. I love it so much. I should dive into this, but before I do, spoilers. Alright? This is really important. Spoiler warning. You cannot have this book spoiled, alright? It's really important, alright? If this book is spoiled, it'll ruin your entire experience, and don't do that. So if you have not read this in its entirety, whatever, then click off this video right now. Like, click off, like, close the tab, you know, close the window, shut down Google Chrome or whatever browser you used, you know, delete your entire computer from existence. Actually, maybe don't do that, whatever. I need to get into this. Yeah, I need to get into this, and I should stop being really stupid. So, yeah, basically what happens is it starts off just explaining Barry Allen's backstory. It explains, like what happened when he was a kid, you know. I think it does. Let's have a look. I think just at the start, yeah, it shows that, it shows, like, in the span of one page, it shows that, like, his mum died, his dad went to prison for his murder, all that stuff, and then it shows the lightning bolt hitting, and then next page you see him running in the city with the Flash suit on, and yeah, it's sort of it's a really nice, really nice explanation of his story, you know. It says Barry Allen has once haunted by the past, but when he became the Flash, he left the ghost behind. That's the writing in this, by the way. The writing is awesome. You know, Jeff Johns is the writer for this. Let me find the credits. Yeah, Jeff Johns is the writer. And yeah, who are the artists? Andy Kubert and Sandra Hope. They are the artists for this. They did an amazing job. I love the art. It is awesome. Like, on the front it says, "Heroic comic book art at its finest" by Entertainment Weekly or Shelf Life. But I think both of them, I don't know. That is true. Heroic comic book art at its finest. That is what this thing is. And it also says, a soaring, if radical tale that uses superheroes in ways that may surprise both first-time readers and long-time fans. I'm sort of a middle-time fan, I guess. You know, it surprised me as well. You know, it can surprise anyone in how awesome this is. All right, so yeah, have I even gotten into spoiler territory yet? I don't think I have. But if you're still watching this, click off, okay? I mean, sorry, hold on, everyone's gone now. If you have not read this, then see you later, bye bye, you know? Anyway, basically what happens is, it has Barry Allen waking up at his desk in the CCPD, Central City Police Department, and like, there's this guy that's, like, talking to him. His name's Forrest, I think. He's just like, "Oh, you have to wake up. We've been working at this case for hours and stuff." And he says something about Citizen Cold, and he's just like, "What? Citizen Cold? Do you mean Captain Cold?" And he's like, "What do you mean Captain Cold?" You know, like, Basically a bunch of stuff is really weird, and yeah, he tries to run out the building and realizes that he doesn't have a speed. You know, he falls down the stairs, and yeah, he doesn't have the ring on his finger, which his suit comes out of, and yeah, he's sort of confused as what's going on. And then you get to see his mum, and she's alive, and she looks a lot older now, and it's just everything's really weird. You know, he has no idea what's going on, and then what happens is you get to see Batman. You know, Batman in this looks really cool. You know, he has this sort of red circle around the bat symbol on his shirt. You know, he has the red eyes. It's just really cool. You know. Like, you get to see him chase down, I think, Harley Quinn. Oh no, Yo-Yo, that's her name. Like, and then he just throws her off a building, you know? Like, this Batman is insane, you know? Like, and then there's Cyborg, who catches her at the bottom of the like in the alleyway below. And he's like a much older Cyborg, you know? He's not a teenager anymore. He's like 30 something. I don't know. That's how old he looks. And yeah, what happens is he asks Batman, "Oh, you need to help us. The world is being destroyed right now." And he has this whole team together. You know, there's Citizen Cold. There's like a bunch of different like teenage superheroes. There's like a Green Lantern guy who's purple. Is it Sinestro who turned out to be a Green Lantern? Is that? I have no clue. But yeah, there's this team of a bunch of people who, like, I haven't heard of half of them, you know. I think Jeff Johns, like, took a bunch of old characters and, like, put them back into this to sort of bring light to them, I guess. And there's, like, airships in the background for some reason. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's sort of like Earth 2, or I guess Earth 3 from, if you watch the Flash CW show. I don't know. I really like that show. But yeah, basically, yeah, what happens is, like, Barry has no idea what's going on, and he goes to where, Wayne Manor is to try and meet up with Bruce to see, like, what's going on with him, and, like, it is not, like, in a good state anymore. It's like this rundown old place, and he goes in there, and like he pushes apart the like this clock on the wall to reveal the sort of secret entrance to the Batcave, right? And he goes down, and the Batcave is literally just a cave with like rock stairs in it, and it's really cool, you know. Like, there's a picture of Thomas Wayne, Martha Wayne, I think his mom's name is, and Bruce Wayne, like when they were younger, you know. And then Batman just appears out of nowhere, and he's just like, "Who are you?" And just tosses him on the floor, and he's just like, "Are you Bruce? What are you doing?" And then he's just like, "Why are you saying my son's name?" And he realizes this guy is, like, this Batman isn't Bruce Wayne, he's actually Thomas Wayne, and Bruce and Martha were gunned down, and he was the survivor, you know. And like that's really cool how they sort of, I always find it really cool how they sort of change characters and sort of alter them a bit, because yeah, we're so used to like the average thing, you know. We're so used to Bruce Wayne being Batman, and he's this good guy who never kills, you know. We're so used to all this stuff, and just to see this, like, that's really cool, you know. And like he threw Yo-Yo off the building earlier, like. Obviously this Batman is gonna be a lot grittier, because, like, you know, he's the father, you know, like, you know, like, parents sort of know kids better than kids know their parents, you know, like, they sort of see themselves in them, you know, like, how they sort of take after them. And also his wife died, he would have known her for a while, and that would have been really depressing, you know, but, like, Bruce, like, wouldn't have probably had all that time to sort of develop, sort of, what's the name, like, sort of knowing his parents well enough, you know, like, for example, what was I gonna say? I mean, like, that's sort of the reason why Bruce is sort of mentally unstable, I guess, if you believe in that theory, but, like, it would sort of send, Thomas off the rails, like, even crazier, so, like, that's why he sort of really ruthless, you know. He just has this straight out hate. Like, that's the difference, I think. Like, he has a straight out hate for all those sort of criminals because of what they did to his family, but Bruce sort of sees it as doing the right thing because of what he experienced, you know. They both sort of have empathy, but it sort of has an impact of them, like, sort of of a different kind, you know, if that makes sense. I think that makes sense. Hopefully it does. But yeah, you actually get to see Deathstroke. He's a pirate in this. Like, that's insane. I love it. And basically what happens is, the reason why this Flashpoint world is crazy is because, like, the reason why it's sort of, like, all ending is because the Amazonians and the what are they called? The Atlanteans are going to war, and, like, they took over cities, and they're sort of fighting each other, and everything's crazy, and it's just, like, really insane. And yeah, Barry sort of thinks that it's Eobard Thawne, Reverse Flash, that caused all of this, because, you know, he's changed loads of stuff in the past, you know, if you sort of read into that, like, Flash lore, Flash history kind of thing. And yeah, he sort of, the way he gets his speed back is pretty cool, you know. Like, he goes onto the roof of, what's the name, of Wayne Manor, and, like he's convinced Thomas Wayne that he's the Flash, because the Flash doesn't even exist in this universe. But yeah, he got his speed back by going on the roof, like, in the middle of a thunderstorm, putting all the chemicals around him, and, like, waiting till lightning hits him. You know, it's really crazy. Like, it burns him at first, and, like, he's just totally really injured, and then he tries it again, and then he gets his speed, and, like, he would have healed really quickly. But yeah, you get to see Steve Trevor, because the Amazonians took over London and used it as the base, and I think the Atlanteans took over Paris, I think, or somewhere in Italy, I don't know. But you see Steve Trevor, he's still a soldier, and he tries to, like, I guess, intercept the Amazonian base, and then Diana just goes in and kills him, you know. This Wonder Woman is insane, you know, and she actually killed, what's her name, Aquaman's wife, and took her helmet. It's really crazy, and, like, she wears his helmet. It's like insane. But yeah, they try to stop him, and Barry actually at some point hears that like, Superman doesn't exist in this universe either, but he hears that there was some sort of spacecraft that crashed into Monopolis. Did I really just say Monopolis? Metropolis. Oh, I don't know. I must have been thinking of Monopoly earlier, but yeah, he crashes into Metropolis and, like, destroys 5 blocks. Like, this happened a few years ago. And yeah, what happens is he teams up with Cyborg and Batman to try and track down this Superman. He's being sort of stored in this underground military base, and, like, he's just this like, weak guy, like, this alien guy who's being sort of detained in this little cell, you know. Like, they literally perform a heist to try and get him out of there. It's really awesome. Like, you can oh my gosh, it's so cool. You can see, like, the Superman logo on this huge door, and like, Cyborg sort of hacks into it and, like, opens it up, and then you get to see Superman, who's, like, this weak guy who's, like, never, like, seen the light of day. He's just been stored in this cell ever since he was a child, you know. That's when he crashed down. Like, he's just, wow, you know. I love this comic way too much. It's kind of sad. But yeah, what happens is they manage to escape, and this Clark Kent just, like, flies off, you know. Or I guess he's still Kal-El, you know. He never really got the name. But yeah, then they sort of, what's the name? They sort of confront Shazam, and Shazam in this universe is so cool. He's like a bunch of kids. He isn't Billy Batson. I mean, I guess he's one of them, but there's a few of them, and they all say Shazam at the same time and turn into the one guy. You know, like, Shazam, I think, has, like, the speed of Hermes, the mind of God or something. But, like, but that's what Billy Batson has. He has all of those. But, like, I think one of these kids has the speed of Hermes. One of them has the intelligence of this god, you know, all of that stuff. You know, the stuff that the wizard Shazam gave Billy. But yeah, they fight off all of the guards that were, like, the military guards, right? Oh yeah, and Hal Jordan in this, he's still a military Air Force fighter pilot. You know, he hasn't become Green Lantern at all. I don't think he probably would in this universe, because well, you never really get to see that anyway. But yeah, he's gonna try and intercept the Amazons, I think. Yeah, I don't really know, but yeah, what happens is they go to this, like, there's this war that's going on between the Amazons and the like this battle between the Amazons and the the Atlanteans. It's really cool. Like they team up with all the Shazam kids and a bunch of different people, and try and stop this war that's like this massive war going on in Europe, to try and between the two sort of armies, I guess. And it's just this crazy battle, you know, like, oh, it's awesome. But yeah, Flash gets his suit back, actually. You know, he has his powers, he has his super speed. You know, there's the Shazam kids. There's like, oh yeah, they have this pet lion, by the way. It's really cool. Like, there's Cyborg, there's all these people that are like charging into battle to try and stop Aquaman and Wonder Woman, and it's just insane. And then what happens is like Shazam splits up, and then Wonder Woman just kills one of the kids, so Shazam cannot exist anymore, because like all those kids because they all need to be alive, you know. So if one of them doesn't exist, then like Shazam cannot exist. It's really cool. I would love to hear like a story about this, because I know that there's like comics about, like, I saw this in my comic book store that I go to, that like there's a comic about Batman in the Flashpoint universe, there's a comic about Superman in the Flashpoint universe, there's one about Wonder Woman. I wonder if there's one about Shazam. I really want to see that, just the story of all the kids like meeting each other and then like becoming Shazam. That's cool when I think about it now. And then just straight up in the middle of nowhere, just Eobard Thawne shows up, the Reverse Flash, and he's just like, look what you did. And he's just like, at this point, like more than half of just all the armies are just dead. You know, they've all been killed. The world is just turning to a pile of rubble, and Reverse Flash is standing there with all of that behind him, and he's just like, look what you did. There's just one frame. I'm sure you've seen it before. I've seen it like loads of times, even before I even knew Flashpoint existed. It's just, I reckon if you just search up Reverse Flash on Google Images, that's like one of the first things that comes up, because it's a really famous picture now, of him just saying, look what you did. And yeah, and he's just like, he's saying, look what you did, Barry, you did all of this. And he's just like, no, look what you did, you changed the past, you changed everything. And he's just like, no, you have to remember what actually happened. It's not me, you have no idea, it's actually you. And then Barry's just like, wait, what's going on? And then he goes on to sort of tell this story where basically Barry was, he like visited his mother's grave every year after after she was killed, and like on one year he just couldn't take it anymore, and he's just like, alright, I'm gonna go back in time and I'm gonna stop this so that none of this happened. And then after doing that, he was thinking like, well, if I don't try and like fix all my friends' pasts, then this is just a waste, you know. He went and tried to stop, like, he fixed a bunch of people's pasts, you know. I think he made sure that like Wonder Woman never like went to Earth, like, and never met Steve Trevor and all of that, you know, like something to do with Aquaman. I don't know much about Aquaman, you know. And then he tried to change Batman's past, but it turns out that like Thomas Wayne survived, and like his wife and Bruce Wayne were killed later on, and all of that. And then like, but then he accidentally, in doing that, just turned the world to just a complete war zone where everything is chaotic. It's all just crazy. And then the Reverse Flash said, see, because you stopped your mum from being killed, then there's no way that the Flash can exist. And if there's no way the Flash can exist, there's no way that I can exist. But I still exist. So I'm outside of the universe, and I can never be killed, you know. He's saying that it's like, it's your fault, Barry. And then And then what happens is, I don't know what Barry does, you know, he sort of, what does he do? I don't know. I think, what happens is, like, he's fighting, and then Superman shows up again, like this Superman doesn't even know how to talk. He's just like this blank face, like, guy with a traumatic past, you know. It's just, all he knows is living in that one cell underground in that military base, you know, because he's too dangerous, you know. That's what the military thinks. He's too dangerous to be let out into the world, you know. He throws up and he's just, like, punching a bunch of people. And then what happens is like, Batman shows up and he grabs, like, Wonder Woman's sword and just shoves it through, like, Thorne's chest and kills him. And, like, everything kind of ends, you know. And then there's, like, this guy called Grifter. He looks a lot like Red Hood. I think his name's Grifter. I don't know. He's, like, one of those characters, like a forgotten character that Jeff Johns brought back. He looks too much like Red Hood, you know. I don't know, he has this, like, giant, like, machine gun, he's got, like, killing everyone. Like, there's this lizard guy, you know. It's just awesome. Oh, it's so cool. You know, like, Superman's, like, beating down a bunch of guys. Like, the symbol on Superman's chest is, like, S and then 1 with, like, a white circle in the background. It's kind of weird. I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see. Oh yeah, he does talk. He just says, the only words he says is just, no more. You know, that's really cool. You know, I don't know what he would have done to change Superman's past, actually. Because, like, he's good friends with Clark Kent, and I don't know why he wouldn't want him to, like, meet his parents in Kansas. I don't know, it's kind of weird. But, yeah, what happens is he's just like, I can actually undo all of this, you know, I can change this all, you know. And what happens is, Thomas Wayne is just like, well, if you can save my son, take this. And he gives him this, this sort of little letter that he wrote, and he's just like, I'm sorry about your mother, but you're gonna have to undo all of this. And he's just like, yeah, I need to turn this back to normal. And what happens is he runs really fast, and what happens is he sort of enters, I guess, does he enter the Speed Force? I don't know. He sees himself, like, back when he was, he went back to try and stop his mum from dying, and he's just like, no, you can't do that. And he's, like, trying to stop him. He's just like, no, I have to save my mum, you know. And he just goes and stops past Barry and sort of resets everything back to normal. And then he wakes up at the same desk, you know, and he notices, and the guy's just like, we need to stop Captain Cold. And he's just like, oh, he's not Citizen Cold anymore, you know, everything's back to normal, you know. And the first thing he does is he goes back to the Batcave, where Bruce Wayne is, you know, just to check if, like, it's all normal. And he's just like, it's Bruce, isn't it? And he's just like, yeah, it is, what's wrong? And then he sort of, you get to see this little sequence of him, like, explaining everything that went on, you know, with Flashpoint and everything. And Bruce does not judge him at all, you know. He knows what it's like to have a traumatic past, but, like, none of us could judge him for that. Come on, like, he says, I would have done the exact same thing if I had your powers, Barry, and my computer just went into sleep mode, and don't think that I don't think about it every single day, you know. Like, Bruce is actually a really good friend, you know. We see him as, like, a sort of dark guy, but he that doesn't mean he can't feel sort of empathy, you know. Like, he's a nice guy. And what happens is he hands him the letter, and you can only read some of the letter, but it says, "Dear son, there's only one thing that I know about life. I know that some things happen by chance," and then you can't see any of that. And then you see, "Love always, your father, Thomas." You know, that came from Bruce's dad when he was alive. And yeah, it actually makes him cry, you know. And come on, like, we all would in that situation, you know. Like, I would, you know. And because he's never known anything from his dad since he was, like, I think 9 years old, around about that age. And he's just like, "You're one hell of a messenger, Barry, thank you." And he's just like, "You're welcome." And then that's how it ends, you know. This comic is awesome. I love it. it is the best, you know. This comic is really cool, and it's always interesting to see like how things could have been different, and like this is a great example of that. You know, you got like Pirate Deathstroke, you got the war going on, you got like Superman who just went crazy. You know, there's Thomas Wayne as Batman. This is awesome. Like Aquaman is pretty cool in this actually. There's a version of Aquaman that's cool that is not the movie version of Aquaman. Like, what the heck? But yeah, there's no talking to fish jokes, thankfully. Like, we've heard enough of that in like all the TV shows and all the movies, and it was in Justice League, and I'm annoying. Everyone always makes that joke that Aquaman can talk to fish. It's just annoying. But yeah, I give this comic out of 10. I give it a 10 out of 10, alright? And I know I've never done that before, but yeah, this is the first comic that I ever give a 10 out of 10 to. It deserves it, 100%. Yeah, this has been awesome. I've been talking for almost half an hour because I love this, alright? This comic book is the best. Pick it up. Please pick this up. Please get this comic. It is awesome, and I love it, and it is the best, alright? The Flash is really cool in this. I like it. It's so good. So good. I meant to say so cool and then so good, and I accidentally said so good. But yeah, it has been really nice doing this review actually. I really like it. Yeah, and by the way, if you want to subscribe, please do. We're almost at 100 subscribers. You know, it's just like, please subscribe. We need 100 subscribers. I sound so petty, don't I? But come on, we're like 97, so if you could subscribe, that'll be awesome. I know I never really ask for people to subscribe because, yeah, I don't know, I don't really like to do that, but yeah, just please. Anyway, yeah, thank you for watching. Pick up this comic, please. I'm saying please a lot. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later. Goodbye.